So I'm recording. Anybody concerned about that, please drop off. Welcome to the latest installment of the Baseline Protocol Steering Committee. This is by far and away going to be, I think, the largest group we've ever had. It has some really great notable guests. And before we go into that, I want to make a statement that anybody on this call, anybody involved, anybody commenting, they are assume that they're representing themselves. They may be representing their company, but assume that they're representing themselves, and do not, if any viewers of this, and we will be publishing this to YouTube, so anyone concerned about that, make sure to let us know in private chat.
Are we doing YouTube live today, or are we going to do it after?
We are not. No, we only do YouTube live on the office hours at noon.
No, that's fine. I just double checking. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have this edited. But yeah, for any viewers on YouTube, anybody you see on the screen, they represent themselves, and that's all that you should take from it. That said, let's get right to it. We got a big agenda, and I'll share screen. We're going to go through several things today. Let me zip up to our Zen Hub. Anybody that put in chat before, if you have any trouble getting into the repo or into Zen Hub, and we'll take care of you on that. This is becoming pretty important. And here's where all of the agendas and minutes will be from now on. So I'm going to go right down to our agenda for the SSC today. And here we are. We're going to welcome new attendees, request for additions and modifications to the agenda. So that's what we're doing right now. Anyone that would like to announce themselves as a new attendee or a new SSC member, please do so now. And also, if there are any modifications that you'd like to make to the agenda, which is here in this issue, which I will place in chat. So while I'm doing that, please have at. Anybody like to announce themselves?
Maybe me. Hi.
Hi, Peter Chris.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'm the founder of Block Unison. We are a dev studio that has been doing solutions for Ethereum ever since. And we've joined the Baseline Protocol or Baseline Initiative basically because we have a lot of MuleSoft expertise in-house. So my first idea was to make some kind of a connector to Baseline Protocol with the existing workflows on MuleSoft. So if anyone wants to talk with me about that, I'm happy to go.
Welcome, Peter. And I know that, go ahead.
No, I'm okay.
I don't know if they're on yet. I don't see it, but the folks from the Fraunhofer have joined the SSC, and you'll see them on the website now. So they've authorized putting Fraunhofer.
Yes, hi John. Here's Christian from Berlin.
Hey Christian. Yeah, it's great to see. I've always been a big fan of the Fraunhofer. They've done great research. Would you like to say a couple things?
Yeah, thank you. As I wrote in the general channel in Slack, I am a research engineer for manufacturing, and together with Myron, we set up a proof of concept for Hyperledger Fabric already, how to use blockchain technology in the field of Industry 4.0. And we saw a lot of issues that need to be baselined. And we tried to put this into a demo for Baseline Protocol.
That's really exciting. And we'll go through that demo item on the roadmap section in a few minutes. Anyone else and any additions to the agenda?
Hi, yes, sure. Hi guys, my name is Amir Razi, and I'm the founder of Real E-Chain. My background is in blockchain venture capital as a research analyst, and now I've founded a company called Real E-Chain, focused on distributing education about blockchain to the public. and I'm here to help Baseline get the word out and create more adoption through education and consulting.
Great to see you. I think also we'll be going through, I think Johan is here and he'll be going through some stuff.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey,
John.
hey guys, how are you? Yes, I'm Johan. I'm from Chainlink. I work on everything that's integration related at Chainlink, and yeah, I think I'll go a bit more into what Chainlink does and how our oracles are used in the space right now when it's my turn, basically. Nice to meet you all.
Right on. Okay, I also see some other companies like AgilePoint are here.
Hi, John. Hi, everyone. This is Jesse Shaw from AgilePoint. I'm the co-founder of AgilePoint. So we provide a local digital transformation platform, but specialize in deliver the end-to-end business process automation orchestration. And what we try to do is democratize that. And we have quite a lot of customers, especially in the manufacturing industries, and looking to use blockchain. So we kind of working on how do we be able to deliver, minimizing the complexity when you try to deliver the blockchain smart contract with local. Great to meet everyone here, and look forward to learn and also to see how we can, contribute and also share the Baseline initiative among our customers. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. I got a chance to look at the AgilePoint system. It's so great to see, that companies like that, where you can imagine the products going in, becoming Baseline enabled and adding to traditional stacks like that. It makes a lot of sense to me. All right, so we're about out of time on this agenda. Anybody want to jump in last minute? One more.
I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Vijay McCulloch. I work on the Pegasus team here at Consensus, and really I think this is really exciting for us because as the kind of only Ethereum Mainnet client built for enterprise and spanning the Hyperledger, EEA, and sort of Ethereum Mainnet spaces, I think we're in a uniquely exciting position here. Look forward to working with most of you on initiatives going forward. Check it out.
Thanks, Vijay. I'm glad you chimed in there. And, obviously, I must recuse myself. I am as a chair, I do have a dog in the hunt. I'm a Consensus employee and love my Pegasus. And a big fan of that and Codify and everybody. Hopefully that we'll be talking more about that in a few minutes with projects, but I'll try to maintain my neutrality. Okay, so from there, we've got some things to celebrate. The SAP Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics project went off very well. I don't know that there's much else to say other than congratulations to everybody that was on that project. Unibright, Provide, Envision, and very quickly, since then the growth metrics, we've passed 500 members or 500 active participants. In an openly governed community like this, it's weird to call things members. We've been getting a lot of questions out there in social network, like, are these guys a member? Those guys a member? I'm like, I don't know. Are they contributing code? Is it good code? That makes you a member to me. It's not really a big deal. It's not a platform, right? Huh?
It depends what you call a good code.
Well, there's that, right? So obviously, and George, you're a maintainer. I got to get you added to the list. I will say very quickly, we're now on a campaign to get the official list of people who are on the SSC or accountable for a project or contributing code on the website. So you need to send me a message saying I authorize that my name and or my company's name to be on that list. It's on. I'll pull that up in a minute, and that will go here on the community leaders page. So if you want to be on the community leaders page on the governance board or the TSC, well, TSC you can get voted in September. I'll be giving you more information on the TSC meetings. We'll be giving more information about the voting. You need to have had one thing merged to master. Even a spell check will get you a vote to the TSC. This is the steering committee. Christian was the most recent addition, but there's a lot of people who are accountable for stuff that I haven't felt comfortable putting their names on this list, you need to tell me that I can. Otherwise, I won't. Provisional chair, maintainer team, and George will be added here after this call. All right, back to the list. So we have a new press release going out tomorrow. Because this will be going on YouTube, I won't out the team on this. People should wait until tomorrow's press release. It's quite exciting. I think, George, you had a little bit of hand in it. So do you want to say just a word or two
I can
things
show you
about
a
it?
little bit if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to show you a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to showcase a little bit of what is going to happen?
Okay. Yeah. Would you like to say a few minutes on that right here?
Yeah, I will send you a link to the documentation. We can just scroll through it so that I don't ask you to give me the sharing rights, if this is okay.
Sure, but we're gonna go through project stuff in a few minutes.
Yep.
Would you like to do it at that point?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Branch progress. Yeah. So there's a big project that's pushing through in the next week or two. The init core branch will be pushed to master. That's going to be a big deal because that's the first step in generalizing and abstracting and generalizing the demo work that was done in the POC, the Radish 34 POC, into a main baseline, the baseline, the folder called baseline in the repo. And documentation will update. There will be new interfaces and things that you'll need to implement. So this is something that everybody's going to want to be focused on in the next few weeks. We will be talking about that more. We'll probably have to have a special session just for that in the next week or two. And I'm reconfirming from a previous, from the last SSC meeting, our big tent pole for the summer is invoice tokenization epic. So anybody who has a point of view in that topic, we'll go through it in a minute, is going to want to be focused on that. That's the big tent pole. There are lots of other projects going on. That's the big one. All right, so I'll take a pause. Any questions, comments? All right, so here we are on the roadmap page. I'm going to walk through these. I think that's the next thing on our list here. Hold on. Yep, I'm going to walk through the epics on the roadmap and highlight the shiny objects. So over the weekend, I contacted people that are accountable for these various things. And the first one is, oops, update. Right, so we have engineering priorities, protocol abstraction, and generalization. That's the init core project. And Kyle or Karthik, you want to quickly take us through the status on that?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
See me? Hey. Yeah, so init core has been informed by a couple of really exciting POCs, the Microsoft Dynamics and SAP integration, and George's awesome concepts that I'll let him tell more about. But the culmination of these two demos has really informed init core into, as John mentioned, the initial abstraction and generalization of Radish 34 into the baseline protocol, which is why it's called init core. The status of it is really we've been at a technical level working on getting some of the test harnesses set up around some of the more complicated zero knowledge proof setup. Not in terms of like the trusted setups, but the actual test harness inside of the core baseline package. That's making some good progress, and also, as John mentioned, our target is to have a very shiny init core merge to master later this month.
We lost your audio.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
What was the last thing you heard? Did it, you lost my audio?
Nope. Sounds
We're
good.
good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of the update. I think things are coming really well. In terms of that initiative, I think the zero knowledge test setups for that package are sort of the last sort of hurdle.
Is that Kyle? Are we going? Is that going to include the consistency circuit, the generalized circuit?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So that's another thing. That's a good point. We've created a more generalized create agreement sort of circuit.
That'll allow anybody to. So right now, the ZK circuit that you have in the demo is basically for the master service agreement of that particular demo. This will allow anybody to create any kind of workflow step, and at the very least have it be confirmed as that everybody in all the counterparties did everything consistently, even though but it won't be doing correctness checks, right? Because it's not a customized circuit for a particular workflow, right?
Correct. Correct. In fact, we're actually using a milder form of this more generalized circuit in both of the demos, which is exciting. But the one that will ship in a init core at the end of the month is a lot more robust in terms of what we hope to be something that represents sort of the first generalized step in a composable circuit sort of workflow. More research will be done around the composability of it in terms of a first workflow step or just an abstract workflow step once an init core merges and not before. However, that's sort of the design and the goal of that effort is to push something that can be the cornerstone of the composable zero knowledge circuit process.
That's awesome. I wish we had more time for this. And Kyle, I think we're going to need to have a special session just on this.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. To your point, John, consistency around field types is something we've considered in terms of this sort of development, and it certainly will make a lot of sense to explore how to, for example, do specific checks on fields within a DTO, for example, in our
I think it would be really cool if the Dell Boomies and MuleSofts and other middleware providers of the world were to get involved in projects like this, where translators are, where that translation step can maintain the consistency check. So that'll be an interesting thing. But we'll have to move on now. Any questions for Kyle before we move on? All right. If that project struck your fancy or got you excited, it's in number 73 in the roadmap repo, right? So as everybody should know, we have two primary repos. We have, there's several. There's a website repo, but the big ones are the roadmap baseline-roadmap repo and the just baseline repo. The baseline repo is where all the engineering gets done, and the baseline roadmap repo is where primarily epics and some issues like tasks that aren't engineering tasks will be placed. So number 73, marketing and comms. We did, there's a lot that has been completed that we'll complete right now. We'll close this issue. We publicized the SAP release, so closing it. So that's fun. I like progress. It's website evolution also done. TJ did a great job. I hope everybody likes the new website, so we'll close that issue. And we'll close the rest of these after the call. Explainer video.
The doc issue, or should the doc issue be on here somewhere, John?
Docs are up here, yeah, documentation.
Okay.
We completed a major documentation upgrade, and we do not have a new item on the list until the init core project, and we'll probably just embed it in there.
John,
So right now, docs are docs.
Maybe we can add one issue similar to the one for publicizing the SAP Dynamics one for the Google Sheets.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, George, although it's so close to being done that maybe we can just finish it off. I don't know. But if you feel like putting it in there, please do.
No, I mean, it's up to you guys.
Well, no, it's your project. So,
yeah.
You know, you should have control of adding epics, so you can do that. And in fact, that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do is get their engineering tasks wired up to an epic that's inside this roadmap, so that we can track it. And by the way, golf clap for Sam Stokes, one of the engineers on one of the maintainers. He did some real work getting a lot of key engineering work surfaced to this dashboard, which I really thank him for. Explainer videos. So there's an explainer video that's being produced by Avia Kraft. I don't know if Avia is on today. Yeah, so we'll pass through that. It's still got some weeks to completion, but it'll be really exciting. I've seen an early item of it. It looked really good. We're cooking up the scheme for a big community monthly event, sort of a hack fest. You know, the TSC and SSC meetings are an hour long. It's a miracle we get through everything. So when it comes to real engineering work and summiting on direction and, you know, haggling through different project items, obviously more work more meeting. So we'll probably set up a monthly or quarterly big hack fest for those sorts of things. Be like a day-long event. So at least that's what some folks would like to see happen, and I'm in support of that idea. Any thoughts there? Okay, member guides are part of that. So we're setting up a kind of an onboarding package for any new members, but a lot of that work did get put into the docs. So the new docs, if you go to docs.baseline-protocol.org, the docs have sections on being a maintainer, being a member, being a contributor, and hopefully they're pretty clear. Anybody spots anything that's not clear, please let us know, or go in and do a pull request. Tools. ROI calculator is one tool. The tools section of the roadmap is probably the lightest right now, needs some work. But this is one that one team is not yet started, but is on, you know, that they've added. Specifications is still a few weeks in the future. We want to get that init core out, and then we're going to start to write specifications. So folks that are interested in that kind of work, that'll be on the deck. We still haven't got an accountable party for this. And as I said, I'll step up to it if nobody else takes the ball. But I know that there are several really experienced standards and specs people out there who and somebody else. And remember, accountability means you're standing up to make sure things get done. Doesn't mean you have to do all the work. Security. Do we have any of the security?
I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, John. Yeah, so I've been meeting pretty much weekly with Kyle at this point. Gonna definitely start getting a more formal security group session going. Been meaning to reach out to Avia for that. But essentially, Kyle and I have broken down what we need to do from the hard stuff on security toward the easier stuff on security. We're putting a lot of focus on what we need to do with ZK Snark registries. And one of the kind of action items that we're finishing up is, since the CISO publication is kind of something that's pretty much been put out there, we've decided to kind of give a response to it so that we can also deal with those issues going forward.
That's really exciting. Let's get that surfaced up here. So if you can add an epic, please.
Copy that.
Taking that, yeah, and connect it to either one of these epics or add an epic to the security project. That'd be great.
Got it.
If you have any trouble with that, let me know. POCs and demos. So we have the ENS team has stepped up, and Brantley and also Bradley from Bradley, are you on? Or Brantley?
Brad is.
Brad, you want to say anything?
Still pulling together what we'd like to bring to Karthik, but we're coming together with how we think we can work together with ENS to create a connector for baseline to organizational verified identities.
That's
the
exciting.
Identity registry.
So specifically, not like personal identity, but being able to have a phone book that we can pull into an org registry so that the counterparties know that for sure that they're working together with the right companies. Well, that sure is needed. So anybody, again, this is sort of a part of the SSC's job is to make sure that we highlight things that are important and see people get involved with those things. If anybody's interested in this, please talk to Brantley and Bradley. Get involved. The invoice workflow demo. Oops. Yeah, no, that's the placeholder for that. So the so here's the PO to 3. So the Fraunhofer team is on this one. You want to go through that?
But I think it's not the right one. This is the one you created when SendHub didn't work, and I think I added a short description to number 56.
Oh, 56 is the correct one now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let's go over to 56. Sorry about that. I'm dealing with panels that are obscuring my vision. Baseline and manufacturing demo.
Yeah, that should be the right one. Yes, in the first step, we will try to implement something very simple because we still don't have full access to all our machines because of the virus. There we would like to trigger the Reddish 34 workflow by the process data of a machine tool, for example, for ordering a maintenance service or the order of spare parts. And in a second step, we would like to add the condition of the quality verification. For example, if I think about tokenizing invoices, then the token might be already created when the process data from the machine tool shows that a product was manufactured under right conditions.
Awesome. Again, anybody that's interested in that topic, please jump on. And I'll, what was that called again? PO to 3D, no, baseline and manufacturing demo.
Yeah, right.
So, baseline and manufacturing demo. There we go. And what do you think the time frame is on that one, Christian?
It's hard to say. Myron, are you here? Maybe you can say something about it. I think the first step could be done very quick because it's based on a demo which we have already in our institute, but the second might take a bit longer.
You have access now, right? So if you go into 56 and add your engineering issues to it, then we'll be able to track it. And I'm just throwing it out. I'm saying September timeframe, but it's quite easy to just change the timeframe.
Yep. Okay.
Explore baselining and IoT. This one, I think, John Monarch is the accountable party for. John, are you on?
I am.
Is this one active or has it been changed?
It is. So we're discussing it with several of our IoT partners. It's still early stage, but we're making sure that they want to be involved. Got some positive feedback, so I should have some more info on that probably this week.
Terrific. Could you take the trouble and throw a description in here so that people that are browsing for things to get involved with can get excited about it?
Yep, absolutely. I'll do that today.
Sweet, thanks. Oracle Salesforce demo. Let's see, that's still a question mark. I'm going to say, yeah, let's pass that one. And if somebody hasn't stepped up to that one next week, we might garbage collect it. Identity legal workflow. Although I know people are quite interested in this. Identity and legal workflow demo with Everest and DocuSign. That's Stefan. And Kyle, I know you're working on the DocuSign. Is that surfaced here?
Yeah, I'm attaching one more screenshot, but yeah, you should be.
Is it number 50 or is it another one you're working from?
It's number 47. Loaded in 1 second. I'm about to upload one more screenshot.
All right. I know that's going to be big. You're in the end game of that project, right?
Yeah, it's basically once the init core ships, then we'll have an end-to-end example demo for this.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's 47.
Yeah.
What's it called?
DocuSign integration kit.
Oh yeah, that one's here. Okay, good.
Yeah, I just updated some screenshots. Maybe it'll be food for thought for some folks.
Okay. There it is, DocuSign integration kit. And you're saying a couple more weeks?
Yeah. You can take a look at it if you want to show folks what it looks like. There's some screenshots I added to it. If you go down, I responded actually. Just food for thought if people want to sort of see like what it'll look like.
Yeah, so you'll be able to baseline establish a baseline via basically answering DocuSign contract.
Yeah, like DocuSign templates can be turned into baselineable generic agreements. That's
awesome. Okay. And I think this might be a good time for the Oracle one. Johan, Chainlink, where did we?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, while I'm looking for it, why don't you give folks a discussion about what it's about?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so hey guys, I guess mostly I'm going to go over very quickly an intro of what Chainlink does. So Chainlink, for those who don't know, is a generalized kind of framework to access real-world data and events through oracles. So it's basically in the same manner that an application, if it wants to live on a blockchain and have smart contract capabilities, this application shouldn't have to replicate the blockchain, right? It should be able to use a framework which is already built with operators who are able to kind of reach consensus on the state of the blockchain. Here with Chainlink, we have a framework and a network of node operators, we call them, who can reach the consensus on specific data points. So our idea, and when we discussed with John, our idea was very clear. Basically, currently Chainlink is being used by around 23 applications which are built on Ethereum to get price data, mostly price data, but it's different kind of use cases. And it's currently securing, like the node operators on Chainlink are securing around a few $100 million of value, basically. And we have seen the interest that Ethereum has had and the value it has had for our oracles. So we've been thinking of ways to make Chainlink more of an integral part of the baseline protocol. Our idea is basically working on a demo which shows how Chainlink can be used to get data. It could be weather data, it could be market get data, it could be any kind of data which can be used in financial applications or insurance applications. We're still figuring out the exact use case, but it's getting data through Chainlink nodes to solve the current issues that, not the current issue, but basically to solve, to build a bridge between baseline and the real world. So to allow baseline to access real world information, real world data through Chainlink oracles. That's basically our idea. We haven't defined a timeline yet. However, the integration, while looking at it, it shouldn't be too hard. And yeah, we definitely have, I think it can be a huge win basically for baseline and for Chainlink, because baseline does indeed have this problem of how do we access real world data? How do we solve the non-determinism issue we currently have? And this can be done by using Chainlink oracles. So that's the idea here. John, I'm not sure if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think this is hugely important. In fact, it's kind of existential for baselining, right? If you're going to have a workflow step, and the consistency circuit is going to fail you if you don't generate the same result in all the different counterparties' systems, you're never going to achieve baseline. And so, there's probably a tool in the future for checking, because you can write Python and baseline it, right? You can just send the package over and say, okay, yeah, everybody's going to run this code, and you got to do it the same. But in doing so, you might you might be creating non-deterministic logic, right? You might have a time lookup where nobody's going to get the same time, and that's going to generate a different result, perhaps. So you need some kind of, so just the way smart contracts on the mainnet or on a blockchain need oracles. And Chainlink is a pretty, prominent oracle provider. So it's really great to have Chainlink researching and developing this particular attribute. Okay.
Awesome, thank you. Really excited for it as well.
Awesome. And so if anybody wants to get involved with that, any coders out there, developers that want to jump on and help, you can go to now. This is Johan. I realized we didn't actually do the epic, so I just created one. It's epic number 89. Use an oracle, and I'm just going to kind of stub that out here, and we'll just leave it at that. So there you go. Good. So
Awesome.
so Johan, if you can. Get the team to start fleshing this event out and also this epic out, and you can start generating a branch, or start doing pull requests on and generating issues. You can link those issues up to this epic, and then we can keep track of it. Do you have any thoughts on how on the time frame for that?
I think the time frame is something we still need to discuss internally. It's very high priority. We still have a lot of priorities right now, but yeah, we'll be able to fit it in hopefully soon. Yeah.
All right, I'll just kind of like throw it way out into the fall there, and you can modify it later. So we have so many things to go through. I think the next one is before we run out of time. Is the big tentpole, which is tokenizing an asset and other baseline records. And Karthik and Didier, I took the liberty of adding you to this because I know you're quite interested in it. If you the big summer tentpole is, can add, number one, can add an invoice work step. Number two, can tokenize that invoice. Number three, can factor that invoice and manage the sale and transfer of it. And number four, can do a fractional sale of that asset, all under baseline rules. And then there's generalization work to be done around that. Can add any work step, right? Once you can add an invoice work step, should be able to add any work step. Number two is can tokenize any asset, not just an invoice, and can use invoice tokens in asset management generally. That is the piece of work ahead of a lot of people. Does anyone want to step up and talk about, I don't know if Karthik's on or not. Karthik is on the TSC and he's always on that one, but I'm not sure he's on this one. Didier, would you like to say a few words about it? I know that you're just getting onto looking at it. I don't want to put you on the spot. Okay, so actually that's good because we got a lot to cover for the rest of the hour. But I will point you to this is epic number 17 in the roadmap, and you can see that there's a video of the initial meeting on tokenization. You're welcome to take a look at. And that's it. So I think. Let's go back over to the sorry, my screen is, there it is. All right, so took a little longer on the shiny objects, but the other one that so there's DocuSign integration, Chainlink we looked at, ZKP benchmarker. Hadas, are you on?
Yes. Yeah, so I can present that.
Is that under ZK service or ZK circuit libraries? Looks like ZK circuit libraries. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just submitted a paper that I've already presented on ZKP benchmarker, but we have a few updates that I can present. So
benchmark Socrates programs?
Yes.
The 139? Great.
Yeah.
Would you like me to,
oh yeah, I can share.
All right, I'll stop sharing. Go ahead and take it away. Got about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, so not a lot of time.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble opening. All right, it's okay. Actually, Jonathan, do you have the paper on?
I do. Do you want me to share my screen?
Could you share it? Yeah, I'm having trouble opening it on my computer for some reason.
Give it, yeah, there it goes.
Okay, yeah, so the updates that we have. So first of all, okay, so we created a benchmarking command line interface, which makes it really easy to benchmark any of the libraries that exist because they all kind of follow the same pattern. And so basically it spins up a Docker container. It runs through each command in the pipeline, measures it with a Linux tool called Time, and then outputs the results into a CSV. And then to make these more rigorous, if you want to scroll down to to section 30. So we used an automated theorem prover called Coq to create a DSL that compiles to both Socrates and Pequin, and it's certified so that we can prove the equivalence between the programs. Because one issue with benchmarking programs in different languages is that if you don't know that the programs are equivalent, you won't know that your data means anything. So we're able to prove the equivalence of our programs. Yeah, and then if you keep scrolling down. So we tested Socrates against Pequin, which is something that was built in the early 2010s. And yeah, if you scroll down to the plots. Yeah, so this is, yeah, thanks. One graph we had, so the red line is Pequin and the blue line is Socrates. And this measures constraints on the x-axis and then prover runtime on the y-axis. So as number of constraints grow, for Pequin, the prover time increases, but for Socrates, it it increases more than it does for Socrates, but they're actually using the same backend. So what this tells us is that there's an intermediate step in Pequin that is less efficient than that of Socrates. So that the representations that they give the backend at the end, it's worse for Pequin than for Socrates. But then on the other hand, this is memory consumption. So Pequin is better for memory consumption than Socrates is. But what we found, do you want to scroll down to the tables now? And then I could show the data. So Pequin actually compiles to much fewer constraints than Socrates does for the same programs. So what that tells us is that Pequin is a more efficient compiler in the sense that it outputs an R1CS instance with fewer constraints. But for some reason, because of the intermediate step that I referred to before, the proving time of what's being output is worse for Pequin. But there's a new tool called ZK Interface by a company called QEDIT, Q-E-D-I-T. And they've like normalized all these libraries to output the same type of R1CS instance. So if we combine that tool with these findings, then we can speed up the proving time ultimately by using Pequin, which outputs more efficient R1CS instances. So if we're going to use the cross DSL language that we wrote for the sake of this paper to identify what the program is. If it's a simpler program, compile it to Socrates. If it's more complex, compile it to Pequin, and then plug it into ZK interface. So that will have a speed up ultimately. And so the goal now that that's done is to apply that to baseline circuits. So there'll be more on that later. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome.
Sorry, that was
thank you very much for that. If Jonathan, if you want to turn off the screen share. That was really valuable. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about what the implications of that are for their projects. And I know that there's also work being done on what are they going to be assessing the unit costs in gas of doing given types of transactions or types of baselining events. So that'll be useful. So please keep that up, and thank you very much for the work. Any questions on that from the team? Or on any of the projects so far? Last one, I think we'll go through. Any questions? All right, the last one we'll go through is the gas station. Is Brian on?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, Brian, I'll bring up the Epic if you want to. Well, yeah, we want to talk about gas station work.
Oh, sure. Okay. I thought you were going to bring it up. Yeah, so I guess briefly, the gas station idea is to create a way for companies to pay for baseline transactions without dealing with gas. So that would allow anyone who participates in the supply chain network, to take part in it, but not have to deal with the complexities depending on where they exist. The legal entities exist in what countries and how they deal with holding cryptocurrency. To prevent those companies from having to deal with any of that, and having a wallet that has ETH in it and keeping it topped up so they can do transactions. So I guess to ask for the community is to, all have a great amount of experience in dealing with companies and working with them. One is to kind of like try to validate the business side of it, and then the other side is to help validate like the user experience side. So if any of you have any thoughts or have any leads of customers or companies you think might, want this, or maybe you've heard from them, oh, they were interested in this kind of system, the baseline kind of system, but they stay away from cryptocurrency. Can you please send them my way, or just reach out to me on Slack, or send me an email, however you want, or ping me in chat here and I'll follow up with you. So that's the kind of the project, or the scope of it. How it relates to baseline is thinking about whether and how we plug into an existing hypothetical gas station so that this kind of product could exist in the ecosystem. So that looks like right now in the short term, some kind of support for meta transactions, And going forward, probably some more detail in the protocol specification and the communication to the people who want to participate in baseline that, hey, if you want to participate in a supply chain or another kind of business process that uses baseline, it's okay. You don't have to worry about Ether. Here's how you do it. You look and find one of these many kind of gas station providers and plug into them, and you get to maintain your identity, but they're gonna pay for all the transactions, so you don't have to deal with gas. So that's the high level summary. Does anyone have any questions? If not, we can follow up. But again, if any of you have companies that you've worked with, we're looking for people to talk to find out how they think about Ethereum, how they think about gas, how they would be, or what would help them be comfortable with this kind of product or service. And it'd just be great. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's a project that my own team here and Brian and I are on the same team here at Consensus are pretty focused on, and will likely result in a demo that features products like Infura and others. But the open source side of this is important, making sure that gas services are able to do this. Obviously, if you are a big company, you probably are today not able to hold crypto to pay for gas. So you're going to need a way of paying for that gas and turning it into an IT charge. And we'll be working with that on that project. So if anybody's interested in that project, please reach out to Brian, who's leading it. Okay, there are several other projects that I'll just highlight here. We don't have time to go through them, but messaging services are still underway. Folks that are interested in that, we still have to instantiate and make sure that things are going with messaging services. I know that the NATS team was quite interested in that, and on Harrington and folks, I think Kyle on Provide, also interested in messaging services. And then identity in general, we've talked a little bit about corporate identity, so there's a demo project around that. So I might do a little cleanup on that particular item. And then the application workgroup can set and enforce which counterparty can change a baseline record. So there's some real important base things that we need to work on. And things like debasing and rebasing, right? If somebody changes their system of record, goes into the admin root and just changes a record when they shouldn't have, you call that debasing. And then you're going to need tools for rebasing it. So that's something that needs to be worked on.
Just to interject here, it will make it into the init core that ships later this month.
Sorry, I got a 7-year-old. Are you 7 now? Yeah, 7-year-old who's asking me questions. Sorry. Kyle, I'm sorry, I missed that.
So I was just saying the NATS first version of NATS will ship with the init core that comes out later this month.
Oh, that's a big deal, and I didn't know that. So let's wire that up to the dashboard. Okay, let's make sure that's in there. Okay. So the Oasis and so those are all the projects we have time for today. I think we got through all of them. If you want to feature your project next time, please let me know and I'll put you on the agenda for sure. And then the Oasis and Hackathon Fund Drive. So I just want to let everybody know that that Carol Geyer is working on getting sponsorships for Oasis. Obviously, they've been doing great work for us. They've been doing way more, and COVID's a game changer. It's making it hard to do fundraising. But if you have the means and you're getting benefit from the Baseline Protocol project or initiative, you're going to want to consider talking to Carol about sponsoring. It's kind of like, so think of this like National Public Radio or NPR or whatever. So this is our fund drive for that. We'll have to get some tchotchkes or something. If you pledge at this much, you can get this self-winding clock. So If you are inclined to support the project, please do so. It's not expensive by any means. I was a little shocked by how inexpensive it is. And from that, and we are also working on, we have not completed it yet, but we're working on a way of tin cupping things like hackathon sponsorships and funding things, specific things. So I'll be reporting to you on more on that later. But if anybody is interested in that topic, please reach out to me and we could use the help. So we're focused on, well, if we want to do a Gitcoin bounty, we could do that. And in fact, Oasis has the ability to collect the money and pay for things in a respectable and organized way. So we're working on setting that up. I think the way that's going to go, by the way, is sponsors will be the only ones that would be able to do those tin cupping activities, but we're working on that. Any thoughts there? Okay. And the final item is updating member lists. And I think I mentioned this before. If you are interested in being, to having your name on the list of the maintainers or the specification steering committee, the technical steering committee, we will only put your name up there if you approve that. All right, we've got a couple minutes left. Any other topics or things that comments that people would like to bring up?
Look forward to the PR tomorrow.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
Get ready for those retweets.
There's going to be light use cases sort of breakout, baseline focus webinar June the 18th at 11 Eastern time, ethatl.com if anyone's interested in checking that event out.
Oh, that's great. Any other announcements like that? York, it's good to see you there.
What time was that again, Kyle?
11 Eastern time. I'll put the link in chat.
Sean, just a quick question. The Missouri event that happened last week, are those videos going to be put online?
Yes, I'm told that they will. And hi, Charlie. Charlie is our czar for making enterprise and business safe for the mainnet. And Charlie, I know that you're working hard on that, and we're working hard for you on it. By the way, again, probably a good thing to mention, if you haven't seen the Medium article on a common sense statement for the mainnet, once again, get your CEO to sign off on that and say, yeah, I will say these things in public. I will say that it's okay for our employees to work on mainnet projects when they are appropriate. Do you have any other things to mention on that, Charlie, before we go?
No, I think the only other thing I was thinking about a bit is kind of other conferences. If people are speaking at conferences or if there are interesting ones coming up that we should be kind of have a presence at, it'd be good to know about.
Thanks. So yeah, and I think we've got a spreadsheet going up on that, right? So reach out to Charlie on Slack, Charlie Morris. Okay, well, this I think is the first really good case of an SSC meeting the way it's supposed to be run. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for your time. Please let folks know about these different projects, and if you saw anything that needs cleaning up in the dashboard, get in there and clean it up. Anybody on the SSC should have access, and if you don't, give me a call or ping me on Slack and we'll work you through it. Thanks, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks.